Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Friday. For those of you who are, it's Friday. Welcome to the first week of our 13th annual WBEX 2023 Free Summit. Please let me know if you can hear me. And I do have a question for you, a special question. Here it is. Please type this into the chat box, or excuse me, the Q&A box. What curiosity are you bringing to this session? So the question is, what curiosity are you bringing to this session? Would love to hear from you in the Q&A box. So what curiosity are you bringing to this session? And if you're sharing your experiences on social media, please make sure to tag us, WBEX 2023 and at coaching.com. Feel free to share your favorite quotes or experiences from the summit, and we will be searching these, and it will be your chance to win a full summit pass. So let's go ahead and see what curiosity you are all bringing to this session. Pamela Davies said, how would Einstein coach? Ooh, that is a good one. I love that. Fran says new learnings. So does Nadia. Marilyn says, I'm curious about what the quantum leaps are. Maria, the curiosity about how someone else coaches such a long time since I have not had the chance to do so. Anna, I'm curious about what a powerful coaching conversation sounds like so I can grow. Let's see. Elena says, what new tool can I learn today that I haven't learned yet? Sherry, curious to learn new things to serve my coaching clients. Let's see. Janelle is curious to learn. Lee says, I'm curious how Einstein coached as well. That's very cool. Jenna says, what would a quantum leap look like with my clients? Stella says, innovative learning. Linda says, I'm curious about how I can grow as a coach. Monica, I'm curious about the Einstein approach. Regards from Argentina. James Paul says, how to enable quantum leaps. Let's see. Lots of curiosity about Einstein coaching, not coaching, coaching. There we go. Let's see. Different perspective on coaching, says Laura. And Teresa is also learning about quantum leaps. Well, we are in for such a treat. And I know Jean-Francois has a lot to cover. So welcome to all of you who've just joined us to our 13th annual WBEX 2023 pre-summit. We are just so thrilled to be bringing you this session today with Jean-Francois and his client in just a moment. We'll be using the Q&A box for all of your questions and comments, so please continue to post there. My name is Kristen Nolan. I'm the Director of Client Success at coaching.com, and I'll be your host for today's live coaching demo. We also have Nadia and Lynn joining us to curate your questions and comments. Live coaching demonstrations are some of the most popular sessions that we offer at coaching.com, and were created so that you could see our thought leaders apply their skills in real coaching scenarios. Also, right after this session, we will be hosting our first ever Backstage Pass experience for full summit members with Jean-Francois. Backstage passes offer a unique opportunity to engage with our speakers in a meeting style session. They are the only sessions we offer in the pre-summit where you must be a full summit member to join. You will find the join link in your member center at coaching.com/summit/registration. Just click on backstage sessions and let us know if you need help with this. We do have 6 backstage sessions in total for the pre-summit, so it's not too late to sign up. You can always check out your full summit options at coaching.com/passes to join. So let's go ahead and get started. I am honored to introduce Jean-Francois Cosson. He is a global executive and team coach who has served over 1,500 leaders and dozens of executive teams across 35 countries. He is a top WBEX rated speaker known for his practical tips and empowering energy. He's also a speaker, author, and regular media contributor, notably to Forbes. And a fun fact about Jean-Francois, he's a bit nervous today as he's taking the risk of coaching someone speaking to him in a language he doesn't understand. And then in the backstage session, he's going to do a crowd coaching session about your deepest purpose as a coach. 2 world premieres. Miss Lolly, his client, originally from Mexico, is a global expert in the design and development of educational curriculums. And with all that said, I will pass it to you, Jean-Francois.
Very much, Christine, for your kind introduction, and much gratitude to you all for joining from 6 continents. This most experiential session I've ever offered at WBEC. So I beg for your forgiveness in advance if there are any mishaps. What we are going to focus on together today is what inner transformation we can ignite with our clients by listening to their energy. Now, one of the precious things of energy, of course, in our clients is that it never lies, and the hope is that it can become our best friend in coaching sessions. Now, what we're going to start with is an introduction by Mr. Albert Einstein himself, because he's quite the master when it comes to energy, and he will not only do the introduction, he will inspire the whole session we have today. And then I will coach Ms. Lolly Baquero, and then she will be speaking Spanish. I do not understand Spanish, and we will test if when I'm reduced to just coaching with her energy, we can get some inner transformation or not, and then we'll debrief. And then I will share with you some very practical coaching tips that I hope can enable your clients to make quantum leaps in their lives, and eventually we'll have a good time enjoying your remarks, your insights, and your questions in the Q&A box. So I invite you all to be also very imaginative risk takers today, okay? So first risk we take is travel back in time to Princeton University a long time ago, knock at the door of Albert Einstein's office, and we are in luck. You see, he's there, and we say, Mr. Einstein, Professor Einstein, actually, would you mind telling us a bit about coaching and energy? And he thinks about it, and well, then he says, yeah, I'm gonna do that, right? So he goes, put on a nice suit, and then he comes back and says this first thing.
We are concerned here with an act of humanity.
And then, of course, he has to add his big hit in the conversation. So here we go.
We are
the equation E is equal mc squared, in which energy is third equal to mass multiplied with the square of the velocity of light, showed that very small amount of mass may be converted into a very large amount of energy, and vice versa. The mass and energy were in fact equivalent.
So we may see our clients as mass or as energy. Interesting, yeah? So I decide I'm going to see my client for the session today as energy in 2 minutes. Just before, I'd like to add what Einstein could share with us as well, right? And first, the formulation of a problem is often more essential than its solution. Interesting. Are we taking enough time to formulate the problem well enough with our clients in our coaching practice? He adds, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depending on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in 5 minutes. Interesting. Are we formulating the problem well enough with our clients? Then Mr. Einstein adds, I believe in intuitions and inspirations. Sometimes I feel that I am right. I do not know that I am. And actually, imagination is more important than knowledge. Interesting. Are we creating large enough a reflective space in our sessions for imagination to flourish? There's more. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Are we inviting our clients to simplify enough? And finally, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Wow. Wouldn't it be interesting then to test that theorem in a coaching session? So I discussed the idea with Miss Loli Baquero, who, as Christine mentioned, is from Mexico originally and a global expert in the design and development of curriculums. And Loli and I generated the perhaps crazy idea that I would coach Loli. She would speak Spanish that I don't understand. So I can only coach her on her energy. What we want to test here is if coaching can be somewhat transformational without the added value of the coach's words. I have never formally coached Loli before, you have to know, right? So this is going to be a first for us in many levels, and it's going to be a super short session, 10 minutes roughly, not a full-fledged coaching session. Of course, it's quite a wild gamble, and I've got to ask you again for your forgiveness for our craziness. Now, as the coaching demo goes along, I would love that you share your observation about Loli's energy evolution and the messages you perceive from Loli's energy. Please feel all of your insights and those messages you perceive in the Q&A. Should be very, very exciting. And now I'd love to extend you a very warm welcome, Loli, to our session. Loli, you know, you've inspired me for some years now with your love of education and accompaniment of people who learn and get new skill sets across the world. Loli holds a postgrad degree in HR management as well as a diploma in pedagogy, and has worked with Coca-Cola FEMSA in Mexico, as well as with BASF, ARM, and the International Training Center for Airports and Auxiliary Services. Loli is currently based in Germany and serves as the academic director for a consulting and training company. So Loli, again, a very warm welcome to our program today, and thanks so much for accepting to experiment a bit widely with me. Loli, before we start, is there anything you need to do to ground your energy and be totally present to our conversation?
No, well, I want to thank you, Jean-Francois. I'm really excited to have this experience. I'm really curious about what I'm going to find here. So no, I think I'm here and I'm ready for whatever is coming for us in this session.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Loli. And then I'm curious, as always, Loli, what is a very important thing that you'd like to explore today?
Bueno, como mencionaste, Jean-François, yo trabajo en una consultoría y siempre tenemos nuevos proyectos, nuevas actividades, y algo que disfruto muchísimo es como poner toda la creatividad en las actividades que hago, en el trabajo con los clientes, en los nuevos proyectos. Sin embargo, esto también hace que al tener siempre tantos cambios, yo terminé muy agotada, muy cansada, dediqué mucho tiempo al trabajo y creo que lo que me gustaría es empezar un poco a balancear eso que sucede en el trabajo y estar un poco más tranquila, más equilibrada. Eso es lo que me gustaría explorar. ¿Qué necesito estar haciendo para empezar a tener mayor tranquilidad en este trabajo?
Thanks very much, Lolly. So I observed some highs and lows in your energy as you were sharing with me what you'd like to explore. And Lolly, I'd love perhaps to invite you to look deep inside yourself, perhaps take a breath or two and try and see what at the deepest level is the most important that needs to happen for you to move forward in a way that satisfies you?
Bueno, creo que en esto que te platico de la búsqueda de la tranquilidad, también está el priorizarme, el poner primero mi bienestar antes que todo lo que estoy haciendo, desarrollando en el trabajo. Creo que eso puede ser.
Thanks, Lolly. So I heard, perhaps wrongly, kind of a steely energy in what you just said, kind of steel, right? Perhaps a strong determination. That could be totally wrong. If it's not, what is this about?
Yo creo que es como la importancia para mí de trabajar esto, de cuando hablo de ponerme a mí primero, creo que eso es realmente relevante, ¿no? El no poner tal vez el trabajo frente a un tema de salud, de bienestar, de familia. Entonces creo que es eso que realmente me importa el poder lograr.
Was there a little bit of emotion in your voice just in the last few seconds, Lolly? Or
sí, que es como el retomar mi propio valor. Creo que es de ahí que viene la emoción, como el apapacharme también a mí, el retomar ese valor que me doy.
and where is your energy now inside of your body, Lolly?
Creo que está como bajando un poco al corazón, como tratando de que desde ahorita pueda concentrarme en mí. Ahí está puesta mi energía.
And what message could that energy have for you, Lolly?
Creo que es como la pregunta de entonces, si quieres como ponerte prioridad, ¿qué te está faltando? ¿No? Es como querer dar ese paso de decir, bueno, si lo sabes, si esto es importante, entonces, ¿qué está faltando para que lo hagas?
And Lolly, is that energy also propelling forward as you were just moving like this?
Sí, creo que es como, entonces, si te das cuenta de esto, entonces, ¿qué quieres hacer? ¿No? Como, ¿qué te está faltando para dar ese paso?
Yeah, wow. Now there is a lot of energy, right, Lolly? Yeah. So what is this about?
Es como la determinación de querer hacer algo.
And so I'm curious, if we imagine a quantum leap, as we were discussing Einstein's work before, right? What type of quantum leap could that energy enable in your life, if any?
Como el salto más grande que yo tendría que dar es aprender a poner pausas, aprender a negociar, a decir no. Ese creo que tendría que ser el salto más grande.
I'm sensing some calm now. Is that correct or not, Loli?
Sí, creo que estoy como reflexionando qué más me está haciendo falta para lograr esto que quiero.
Loli, can I invite you to perhaps formulate in a very simple sentence what you aspire to do next?
Comunicar lo que necesito para poder yo estar tranquila en mi trabajo.
And can I invite you then, Loli, to project to me the energy you need to make that happen?
Sí, es como esa seguridad.
Can you project it again, please, Loli? Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what I received, Loli, right? Clarity, a bit of that steely energy from the beginning. It's like no concession, a sense of forward movement on your own terms. And I apologize for anything I didn't get right, Loli.
No, completamente es esa seguridad, esa determinación. Sí.
Okay. Loli, could you project it again, not just for me, but for the thousands of us around the world at this moment in our conference?
Sí, es como esa es mi energía.
One more time, perhaps, Loli, if you don't mind, one more time.
Yeah.
Got you. Loli, thank you so very much. And perhaps now we can switch to English, right? Loli, so big thank you to you for this very wild experiment. Yeah, we didn't have the value added of the words that, of course, we are going to explore it in normal situations, right? So may I invite you, perhaps, Loli, for us all here to, in a very simplified manner, tell us about your experience along those 12 minutes of conversation.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting to explore the energy and especially the quantum leap, I will say, because what I wanted was to find balance in my work. And what I end up is determination to speak up, to gain that balance and to respect that balance. So I think that quantum leap is the one that brought me to this determination.
Thanks very much. So that quantum leap was very helpful. What else was helpful? And also later on, perhaps in our conversation, I'll ask you what was frustrating that I could not understand what you were telling me. Plenty, I suppose. Yeah. First, what was helpful?
I think also it was helpful when you asked me about the energy, because I get to go from maybe my head to experience a little bit more of what I was feeling about this topic. So also finding where the energy was coming also helped me to switch the conversation I was having in my mind.
Okay, thanks very much. Any frustration you felt at some stage along the 12 minutes, Lolly?
Only that we didn't have more time, I will say, because I think there could be so many things to explore.
They could, right? But then, of course, the language would help, right? The intention in this kind of wild experiment, of course, is in no way to encourage our community of coaches, right, to experiment without the words. Why would we ever do that, right? They have a lot of value. The intention was just to test the idea that perhaps coaching can be transformative even without the value added of the word, right? What would be your conclusion on this, Lolly?
Oh, I will say, yeah, I will say this because in the end, it's finding something new about myself. And it's interesting to find it in an energetic level. So.
Great. Well, thanks very much again, Lolly. Please stay with us, right? There may be questions for you, and for sure there will be also comments in the Q&A. By the way, I thank you all for the wealth of insights and observation questions as well you've offered in the Q&A. We're going to come to them very, very soon. Just before we do that, I'd love to share with you, as I promised, a few very concrete, practical tips that may help us all at times to help our clients by listening through to their energy to work on their inner transformation. So before we do that, and because our energy introduces us before we speak, it's very important that we ground ourselves energetically so that our energy could not risk to pollute the conversation, right? And so then we also have to work to adjust the energy of the client and the and our energy at the beginning of a session to be kind of compatible, right? So we're going to have a productive conversation, and I'm talking about coaching sessions with language, of course, that we understand as coaches, just like normal, right? And also the added value of some good work on energy. As coaches, we want to be warm and still as a calm lake from the very start of the session, to also give a chance to our clients to be calm as a lake without wind, right? It's important also that we give a chance to our clients to kind of cleanse their mind, their heart of emotions or of other things that are cluttering their brain, right? And that will help them fully concentrate and be present, right? And when you see that your client perhaps does not have the level of calm at the beginning of a session that is optimal for great work, I encourage you to invite them to take a few deep breaths. And you noticed I did that with Lolly, actually. And by the way, Lolly, if you can hear me, did those breaths help you in any way?
Yeah, especially to be more conscious, I will say, to be more present.
That's okay. Great, thanks very much. And actually, those breaths also help us kind of light up the whole Christmas tree. So before I go to that, I want to say it's about enabling clients to formulate their problem in a way that allows a quick resolution. In fact, and we've got to connect the whole body of the client. To work out what really is the problem that's the most worthy behind the problems that's brought to the session. And when I say connect head and heart and guts of the client to tackle the problem, right? Therefore involving the whole body, perhaps the metaphor is that of a Christmas tree, right? We want to light up the whole Christmas tree, the head, the mind, the heart and the guts, before we decide, coach and coachee, what is going to be the very valuable objective of the exploration of the session, right? It can help also, and I did that with Lolly, to inquire about what's most important at the deepest level within the body of the client. And it helps because it accelerates the resolution of the problem that we invite the clients to simplify the problem, which of course is the ultimate sophistication, right? It's very difficult, but then nobody said the coaching session was easy on the coach's side, right? So, another thing I wanted to offer to our conversation, right, is the importance to unleash the client's imagination and intuition in service of the resolution of the problem. As you remember, Einstein said, right, I believe in intuitions and in inspiration. Sometimes I feel that I am right. I don't know that I am, right? And often clients will be very much in their head at the beginning. And I have a sense, Lolly, you were quite a bit in your head at the beginning, right? But then with the invitation to listen to your whole body, right? You mobilized a lot more than your brain to work in the session. Yeah. So perhaps here we want to be good at detecting metaphors, right? And inviting clients in the language of their metaphors, right? To explore what message the metaphors carry at a deeper level. And that's not easy coaching work, as we want to be extremely careful that we use exactly the language of the client, so we do not run the risk to destroy the metaphor that the clients are building with extraneous words, right? Another thing we could have done with Lolly, because I believe, Lolly, you're quite visual. I could see your eyes darting up. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? With visual clients, invite them to draw what they see and question the drawing in a very clean language kind of way, which means we do not assume that the colors, the traits are objects or people or beings. We question perhaps the choice of color, the relative size of the different shapes on the drawing, the proportions, right, the perspective, and with no assumption at all in our language. And of course, to help unleash clients' imagination and intuition, it's very basic, but we can just ask them about their gut feel about the problem that they've brought to the conversation. And about making sense of clients' energy and energy shifts, coming back to the fact that energy never lies. It can be a very precious ally to us, right? I wanted to share that when we observe an energy shift, right, or we have a sense that there's something behind the energy that can be precious to interrogate, we have to be very careful with the way we bring that to the conversation. It should always start with a permission. Yeah, may I share, for example, right? I believe I sense a special energy in you when you say whatever. Did you sense anything? Where is it in your body? What could it be about? What message does it have for you? And perhaps what's the shortest version of that message? Again, inviting to simplify, right? You notice with Lolly, I tried and be the most careful when I shared with her some sense I was getting from her energy, right? Twice at least I said, maybe I get that wrong, please correct me, right? Because again, energy and metaphors, right? And a lot more are very fragile in a coaching conversation, right? And we don't want to alter them or ruin them, right? By some too brusque interventions on them, right? And finally, you remember Einstein said that everything is energy, basically, and if we match the frequency of the reality we want, then we cannot help but get that reality, right? And on this, I thought in coaching, perhaps it can help to invite our clients to send us the energy they will mobilize to get the reality they want. In the case of Lolly, right, I played with the words quantum leap, right? And then a bit later on, I invited Lolly basically to send me the energy she felt she needed to make that quantum leap happen, right? And I received it, and I took my time to try and get a sense of what it was, and then I shared with Lolly, and again I said, it may be all wrong, right? It could so very well be. It seems in this case it was not wrong, and it's not bad if our perception of the energy is wrong anyway, because then the client will say what it was, right? And this is all about anchoring in the client the capability to master the energy they need to move forward in the way they want, right? So if we sense the energy in a wrong manner, they will tell us what it was and what it is, and then we'll ask them to project it again in the spirit of anchoring that capability, right, of gaining the energy they need, right, which I did with Lolly. And then if you don't go into that kind of exercise, right, there is still perhaps at the end of a session when you feel the ambition of the client in their action plan, right, is not matched by the energy you feel they have about that, we've got to question that, right? And we can do that by asking humbly, may I share? I'm not sure I'm sensing yet the match between your energy and the ambition in the actions. Could you tell me about the energy you have to make those actions happen, right? And of course, in the language, if you hear towards the end of the session, perhaps at the action stage part of the session, right? Some words like, maybe, perhaps, I should, I could, it could be nice to, yeah, and we have to challenge that very harshly. And each time we have a challenge harshly, of course, we put our biggest smile on the face and we use humor, right? And then the challenge works. Now we're going to go to the joy of discussing your insights, your questions, your remarks, right? Just before, I want to pay tribute one last time today to Mr. Albert Einstein, and salute his quote, "The important is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing." And then he also said, and he could be the best advocate of our profession really nowadays, you know, don't listen to the person who has the answers, listen to the person who has the question. And at a very deeper level, we shall need a substantially new way of thinking if humanity is to survive. We coaches, we have an important mission, right? So now I finally want to thank Mr. Einstein for never having taken himself seriously. Yeah. So at the top of the hour, I hope to find many of you at the backstage pass session. As Kristen mentioned, it will be another world premiere, kind of crowd coaching to find your coaching purpose, right? And I also hope that on 1st of February next year, you can join us for a longer version of a coaching demo, right? A full-fledged coaching demo, where I will use language as usual, right? And energy, of course, and Einstein's inspiration. And we'll discuss further how to enable quantum leaps, right? Now, it's time to enjoy your insights and your questions, perhaps, and your remarks. And perhaps, Kristen, we can have this conversation right now, yeah?
Yeah. Oh my God. That was just unbelievable. We have so many beautiful remarks in the Q&A box. I will make sure that you get a copy of it because I can't tell you all of them. There's just too many. I do want to read one from Kristen. She said, John demonstrated one key purpose of coaching: to raise clients' energy just enough so they can unleash the use of their own imagination and intuition. Wow. So,
wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Woo. So many amazing insights here. We also received lots of questions. We're going to get to a couple of those in just a second. Before we do that, I want to emphasize to all of you that live coaching demos were created based off of feedback from our community, from all of you in our community. Please take a few moments to answer the poll that we will put up right now, just a couple questions, so that we can continue to bring you the things that you are looking for. And what I will do is start with some questions. All right, so from Clara, how did you resist the temptation of taking some minor understanding of her linguistic expression? I'm curious.
Yeah, being a French person, there were some words here and there that sounded to me like probably equivalent to French words, right? But that would be I was not tempted, because that totally would destroy my concentration on her energy, right? Well, I could not do two things, right? Yeah, so it takes absolute concentration to do that type of demo, right? And again, the invitation is never that you would do the same, right? Coaching people you don't understand, right? This is just a kind of a test, right? The value added of the words is enormous, right? Thanks, Clara, for the question. Wow.
Yeah. So actually, on that note, Marie asked, do you find it harder to concentrate on a client's energy when you're also speaking the same language? Is there an issue with focus or a distraction there?
Yes, absolutely, right? And so it takes a bit of practice, but I encourage everyone to really practice with the energy. It's extremely helpful, right? We go so deep, so fast, right? So yeah, it's not so easy at the beginning, right? Yeah, thanks a lot for the question.
Let's see, Sabal asked, this was absolutely superb. Thank you. Is this energy related to underlying emotions and feelings? If yes, how do we work with negative emotions?
Okay, thanks. Great question as well. I think, right, it's so very important to invite the negative emotions to be fully expressed, right? They must not stay inside, right? And we see the client try to unburden themselves, and there may be lots of anger coming out, some foul language, there may be lots of tears, right? And this is a blessing. I showed you a Christmas tree earlier on, and really when clients unleash their negative energy, this is Christmas. In fact, they will always leave the session with a superb quality of energy. Yeah, so just give them all the space to unload all of the negative energy. And if it takes 20 minutes, that's extremely healthy.
That makes sense. You're kind of unpacking and getting it out, right? So that the good can, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, last question. What was your experiences from Mac? What was your experience of the coaching session from your perspective, Jean-Francois? What did you appreciate most about your assistance to Lolly, and what did you struggle with?
Yeah, so I have to confess, this was very, very difficult exercise, right? Very difficult for me, right? But at the same time, I enjoyed that it was very pure, right? I had only one variable to work with, right? Just like one instrument that would have only one chord, one spring, one chord, right? One note, right? And I loved that Lolly, wow, did such fabulous work with all that, right? So it was difficult, and of course, it's not something I'm going to do again, right? But I hope it accredits the idea that there's a lot of value to be gained from working with the energy. Yeah, and also I hope that it helps everyone stop to worry when they don't fully understand what their client says, right? Which happens to me very often, right? Because, okay, then work with the emotion or the energy or the body language or whatever, right? That is not words. No need to worry. We don't have to understand everything, right?
That's right. No, that's such an amazing lesson and demo in action. I just can't thank you enough. And I know just so many, again, beautiful comments coming in. So there are so many questions we didn't get to, but to continue the conversation from this session, for our full summit members, we're going to be heading into a backstage pass session in 15 minutes that is going to begin. And we have a whole nother experiment, but may have more time for questions from this session as well. If you are part of the pre-summit, you can join the implementation mastery discussion that's going to be starting in just over 1 hour. So today it's a little bit later because of the backstage session. It's going to happen at 11 a.m. ET, and you can register at the link we will put into the chat box for you. So with all that said, I'd love to just thank Jean-Francois and Lolly for being here. It just was absolutely an amazing session, unforgettable. And we will see you in just a few minutes, Jean-Francois, on the other side. Thank you, Lolly. Beautiful energy
thanks,
coming
Lolly.
out of
Thanks,
you.
everyone, and all the best to everybody. See you.
Thank you. All right. If anyone has any questions about the pre-summit, experiencing anything CCEUs, I would like to just stay a couple minutes here. I have about 5 minutes to spend with you to answer any questions that you have. And I did want to just share do a little screen share so that our full summit members, you can see where to find the meeting link for the backstage session. What you'll do is you'll go to coaching.com/summit/registration in your member center, and you're going to click on backstage. Make sure that that's highlighted in white. And this is just a good tip for anyone if you're trying to look at a themed learning track. As long as that theme is highlighted in white, it means that you are on it and you've got your session sorted by that theme. You can join this session just by clicking on select and submit. And once you have selected and submitted the session, I can't talk anymore. It's going to show up under your My Sessions tab and also the Backstage Sessions tab. You can just click on this to attend live. Okay, so absolutely recommend doing that. Also, for anyone who is, especially for all of our coaches who are looking for ICFC CEUs or SHRM credits. Something that I fully recommend is anytime you can join a session from your member center. So just clicking on this attend live for any sessions you're registered for. This is such a great way to join sessions because it will ensure that the email you join with is tied to your account, which will be in the end tied to your certificate. So please try to join sessions from your member center as much as you possibly can. We always get a lot of questions about certificates and if a session is missing, it's often the case that maybe you join from a Zoom account where you have a different email associated with it. We can absolutely add that session on for you, but it's easier for you. You get your certificate faster, everything's in line. If you just join from your member center, just on that attend live button right here. So absolutely recommend that. All right, I'm going to go into the Q&A box and just see if anything's coming up about the pre-summit so that we can answer this. How can we get recordings? Great question. So what is going to be happening today, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on the My Sessions tab, is that you're going to see little play buttons show up by all of the sessions. Actually, you can go into all sessions even. So even if you didn't register for it initially, you'll see a little play button here. This either will be launching this morning or a bit later on this afternoon. For all of our pre-summit members, I'm already a full summit member. That's why I can see the play button ongoing. You'll get access to recordings ongoing if you're a full summit member. But for pre-summit members, this play button will show up and it will exist through Monday morning. So you can watch all the recordings that you want to over the weekend, catch up. And another new thing that we integrated, which I think is super cool, are these ratings. So you'll see these star ratings right here. You can see that Dr. Jacinta got a 9.16, Marcus Buckingham got a 9.3, Francesca 9.22. Anyway, you get the points. So that's another great way that you can be selective about the recordings that you watch. You can see who is rating the highest and watch those recordings. So wanted to share a little bit about that. Great question from the audience, and I didn't see your name, but how do we record our attendance for IM sessions? This is a good question. I wanted to show you this today. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to go to, IM sessions and IM attendance. Okay, so you want to click this button that says IM attendance. And when you click that button, what's going to happen is this attendance page will show up. You can mark your attendance by entering the password that your facilitator provided to you at the end of your IM session. So please make sure that you do that. Enter your password. It's as simple as that. Click submit. Another question that I've been getting a lot of that I wanted to show you all is this. When you register for IM sessions, I heard some of you didn't get the join link. It's no issues if you didn't get the join link. And we send so many emails, it's possible it gets lost, right? But anyway, all you do is you go to IM sessions and you go to registration. And when you click on registration, you can see this My IM Sessions link at the top here, okay? So this is under IM session registration. You'll click on My IM Sessions and you'll see the Zoom link is right here for you. And since we recommend joining sessions from your personal account, make sure everything is done accordingly on your certificate, then absolutely join from here. This is all I have time to show you right now, but we will be back this afternoon and hanging out at the end of the session to show you even more tips and tricks. So please just make sure that you hang on if you want to learn even more. Elena, yes, you can get CEUs for watching recordings, but we absolutely recommend coming to listen live. It is so much more fun. Plus you get to join the implementation sessions after and connect with coaches. Perfect. Diane says, I've requested a conversation to better understand your program. So Diane, we are working as fast as we possibly can to get back to everybody, and we would love to interact with you. So thank you for asking. I will absolutely check for your message and we will get back to you, I promise. All right, take care. Have a great rest of your day or evening, everybody. Looking forward to seeing many of you on the backstage session and then the implementation session that's happening in about an hour. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.